Hey guys, today I'll be playing Danganronpa Lapse. I think I'm saying it right. And this is a fan game of the actual game of Danganronpa. And to be honest, I've heard of this game, but I have no idea what it's about. I've seen all the characters, but I just don't know what the actual game series is about. So I'm just playing this fan game of it, which is basically about students who find themselves trapped in like a big fancy mansion, and they have to like kill each other to escape, basically. So let's play. Okay, the mini menus. Click access save menu. Alrighty. The heart of man is very much like the sea. It has its storms, it has its tides and its depths. I've not finished reading that. What is that sound? Okay. That was pretty fancy. I opened my heavy eyelids to an unfamiliar room. Oh, guess I was asleep, but where am I? This isn't my room. I turned my head to the right to see a small, old-fashioned alarm clock on the nightstand. The time read 7:30. 7:30 in the morning or the evening? I reached over to stop the alarm when suddenly I felt a dull pain in the back of my head. Ow. I sat up from my bed to rub my head and shut off the alarm. The pain subsided quickly. It was then that I fully take in my surroundings. I found myself in a comfortable room. Soft lighting rested against the warm-colored walls. The furniture was devoid of any dust or dirt, and the bed itself was extremely plush. An unassuming painting hung just above my head. I scooted from the center of the bed, kicked my feet out from under the covers, and began perusing the room of its amenities. A roomy closet, a small writing desk in the corner, and a single bathroom. It was overall a luxurious room without seeming overly elegant in its design. The room is comfortable enough, but how on earth did I get here? Am I imagining this? I hope I didn't hit my head. I went to the bathroom, turned the cold tap, and let my cupped hands fill with the crisp water before splashing my face. The chill snapped my senses awake as I took a moment to collect myself. Well, as far as I can tell, at least I'm in one piece. I noticed my everyday coat was on the hanger behind me. I pulled the coat on and adjusted myself. It wouldn't hurt to recall the basics. My name is Echo Pine. I'm a student at Calm Mind Institute coming towards the end of my final year. My best friend is Ashley. Ashley! The last thing I remember was seeing my best friend Ashley off for the day as she went to take care of her horses. Ashley, I wonder if she made it home all right. I admit I was a little less thorough in making sure she made it to her house that late afternoon, but I'm sure she's all right. Or, I hope. I racked my brain thinking about that evening. Alright, thanks for the lift. And be careful with your ankle. I can't believe you insisted on driving even though it sprang. It's no problem at all. Besides, my ankle is almost done healing, so it's no big deal. It's not like I drive with that foot anyway. I'm worried since I can't walk you to the door. I wanted to see if Applejack was in a petty mood tonight. My house is right there. You don't need to worry. And if she is, I'll make sure to give that kitty a good scratching for you. Alright, thanks. Night, Ash. Good night, Echo. I left the car in park and watched as Ashley crossed the lawn. I declined putting any more strain on my left ankle since it was still recovering from a sprain, but I remained vigilant. Her porch light wasn't on, so as she got closer to the house, she faded into the evening shadows. I waited a few more minutes until I heard her front door close. Click. Okay, time to get back. I shifted back into the drive and let the wheels crawl before accelerating. But upon my slow graze across the gravel, I didn't see her living room light turn on. I was worried, but I was certain I heard her front door close. Was I really certain, though? I remember clearly driving off, not seeing her living room light turn on. Oh, what's going on? Nothing. Suddenly, a darkness welled up inside of me. Was I in this strange, unknown remote location because I didn't make sure my friend was safe in her home? No, that would be absurd. Those two things can be linked together just because I was less cautious than usual. I combed through the room once more and realized I didn't have any of my personal possessions on hand or in the room itself. No phone to call Ashley to make sure she's okay. Sure, there was an ancient landline service in that room, but I didn't know where I was to begin with. I started to panic. I had to get out of here. I was so caught up in both my head and an unprovoked fear that I threw the door open with full force, nearly hitting the person just outside. And that person happened to... Oh my gosh. Oh, what did? Ash? Huh? Echo? It was strange. The very friend I thought I suffered a consequence for not making sure they made it home safe was standing right in front of me for some inexplicable reason. You're okay. Ashley Westbridge, a dear old friend of mine. She's what some people call a horse girl, which seems like a vague thing to call someone who just happens to tend to equines. That irrelevant thought aside. Yeah, of course I'm okay. But what about you? You're pale as a ghost. I just got a little worked up is all. I woke up in this unknown place, and I thought it was because I didn't see your lights go on in your house before I drove off. I rattled off the thought that stirred my fears just moments ago. Echo, it's okay. You don't have to worry about a thing. I made it home to take care of Hyperon, all in one piece. I was just a little tired is all, so I went straight to the stables behind the house and took the back door entrance. Sorry I worried you. Ashley wrapped me in a big, familiar hug. I immediately felt calm. Thanks, Ash. I know I shouldn't get so worked up over stuff like that, but sometimes I can't help it. You know, one thought led to another and I just jumped to the worst possible conclusion. No, Echo, you wouldn't need to fret so much. You'll make yourself sick with worry. However, I could totally understand where this worry might come from, especially in this scenario. Yeah, just where are we? Yes, that is the question. With my mind and heart at ease, I discussed the situation with Ashley. I told her that I woke up not long ago thanks to the provided alarm clock and her experience was just the same. She too felt a dull pain of a lingering headache upon wakening. And she too felt a brief moment of confusion due to an unknown setting. I couldn't find any of my possessions in my room. I tried to find my phone to call you, but no luck. I don't have any note in my room. I don't have anything of note in my room either. I don't have any of my things with me, like my satchel or phone. It's odd, although there aren't any answers to the obvious questions like how did we get here, where are my things, etc., etc. I strangely feel comfortable here. I think that just might be that super plush bed. Not going to lie, I really like to go back home. We laughed among ourselves and decided to explore what seemed to be some sort of mansion. I still felt uneasy, but thanks to the seeing familiar face, I felt a little safer. I closed my room door behind me and noticed that there was a plaque that adorned with the symbol of my high school. Looking further down the hall, the various other door plaques shared the same features. I spotted Ashley's right away as well. It seems her room was just adjacent to mine across the hall. Looks like there are other students here as well. Other plaques with school emblems, I'm assuming? Seems that way, although I haven't ran into anyone yet. Not literally like you, of course. Very funny. The hall interior is very ornate, with dark wood lining the walls and candle scones lighting the path. The dark wood floor was covered in a thick woven rug that created a path towards an opening in the hallway. I think I could hear some others down the hall. Ashley took the lead as we curiously walked through the hall, taking in the ambience as we gazed at the miscellaneous paintings of nature that hung on the wall. The sound of lively conversation grew louder as we approached the connecting room. This is a really nice mansion. Sure enough, There were 3 other people having a lively chat in the foyer. Hey, you two. Good of you to make it. I was wondering how many other people were going to come around. This one looks way too cheerful. You can just count how many doors or plaques there are in the living quarters hallway. Nah, I'm not attentive enough for something like that. I'll just figure it out from how many of you I meet up with. You're awfully carefree, aren't you? Yeah, it's because I have good company with you lovely folks. Aw, come on, what's with the cold shoulders? I'm just here to have a good time. The person with the hat continued preoccupied in his present less than willing company with his lively conversation. I quietly took in the atmosphere of the foyer before approaching the group. The main clearing was huge. It featured a shiny white marble floor extending into 2 spiraling staircases on either side of its circular walls. An elevator resided in the center of the wall, opposite from the front door. A beautiful grand chandelier hung from the center of a marble ceiling, just above a modest table at ground level. The wooden table itself was rather bare, only containing a decorative flower vase and a very polite note printed on the premium grade cardstock. Speaker. Thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. Please make your welcome official by signing in utilizing the bracelets that have been provided. Simply tap the bracelets to the digital kiosk that is located at the foot of the stairs. I lifted my left wrist to see the bracelet in question. It was a light, simple thing, a rose gold plate with my name on it strung into a bracelet with a small chain of the same color. I didn't even notice it until now. Ashley was admiring her just as I did. Her bracelet hung on her right wrist, just above her own wood cuff bracelet. I looked over at the other students' wrists as well, and they all had the same thing, albeit presumably with their own names. What was the purpose of these things anyway? Rather than get absorbed in wondering about the small decoration, I decided to join in a small conversation. Hello there. Have you 3 already scanned your bracelets? Yes. We all convened here just a few minutes ago. I recommend you scan your bracelets on the kiosk as well, since it grants access to rooms after the welcome. Oh well, then don't mind if I do. I went over to the aforementioned kiosk that was nestled strangely within the luxurious decor. The kiosk displayed a map of the first floor layout by default. The floor led to 4 locations: the living quarters, the dining hall, the study, and the theater. I held up my wrist close to the screen and it quickly detected my bracelet, displaying a sparse summary of information, my name and the profile picture. Echo Pine. Speaker, thank you for signing in. You may now roam the first floor freely. Your bracelet corresponds to your room and your room alone. They are paramount to keeping your personal room and its belongings safe. Please take care of it. Please make yourself comfortable with all the given accommodations, and once again, welcome. The screen went to the original map screen as it was before I scanned my bracelet. I stepped aside to let Ashley sign in as well, and in the meantime got to introducing myself to the other students. Hey there, I'm Echo Pine, and this is my friend Ashley Westbridge. Nice to meet you all. Likewise, I'm Arturo Campopiano, but just art is perfectly fine. Missy Vesper, the pleasure is all mine. Canon Ota? Have you all met before? That would be a negative. Isn't like making new friends, though, right? Canon said nothing, instead letting out a loud sigh with absolutely no subtlety and hiding her annoyance towards Art's enthusiasm. I see. That said, you mentioned that you two are acquainted? Oh, yeah. We were pen pals the summer before high school and started, and we just became closer over time. That's quite endearing. Oh, thank you. I didn't expect that kind of answer from Missy. Maybe she's the type to secretly cry at romantic movies? Well, if we're all signed in, why don't we visit the dining hall? I don't know about the rest of you, I feel tea is in order after waking up. I'm in favor of that idea. I'd like to explore afterwards as well. Yeah, I wonder who else we're going to run into. This is exciting. Missy walked briskly towards the dining hall, which was just opposite the living quarters hall as we entered the foyer. Art followed quickly after, which just left Kanon back in the giant clearing. I'll explore at my own pace, thank you. Oh, okay. I suppose we'll see you later? With a curt and definite statement, Hannah made her case stating that she was going to stay put in the corridor. Ashley and I followed the other two into the dining hall, leaving Hannah to her business. The dining hall was rather small and intimate. A single long woodcraft table and a modest chandelier created the centerpiece. A black marble fireplace with a natural painting hanging just above decorated the far wall. The table setting bore 16 chairs, 14 on each side and 2 on the heads of the table. The table was already decorated with light accessories, a candelabra, small vases of flowers, and an encyclopedia about ships. That's so boring. The room itself was connected to a small kitchen, one with the usual kitchen staple appliances, an oven, a refrigerator, a large dishwashing sink, a gas range, and all the utensils and the tools one might need. A small storehouse pantry was set off to the side, with nothing of readily edible interest to the common person. Wow, this place is super loaded, huh? Art made a beeline for the 2 side rooms, poking in and out of the dining hall between the pantry and the kitchen. Missy, on the other hand, glazed slowly around at the dining hall itself. It's a very fine setting, but not so much that it feels oppressively high-end. Yeah, everything looks to be in good order for a meal. Art finally stopped pacing around and sat at one of the seats, kicking his feet up on the table as he looked around the room. Missy noticeably shook her head at the action. But, where is everyone? This place looks like a bunch of people, but there are only 5 of us. I wonder if no one else woke up yet? Maybe others ignored their alarms. Some people like to sleep in and all. I approached a natural painting above the fireplace, admiring the soft colors and brushwork. As I stood in front of it, the painting faded out to reveal what looked to be an emblem. Following the display of the emblem screen, an announcement came from the overhead speaker within the room, the voice silvery and modulated. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you have a lovely stay. Feel free to utilize the kitchen to your heart's content, or if you are unable to, you may use the automated cook feature by tapping your bracelet onto the kitchen's digital kiosk and selecting a meal. Or if neither of those suit your particular taste, you may consult your group's ultimate level kitchen hand. The emblem disappeared, returning the screen to its initial artwork display. But what did that mean? What's an ultimate level kitchen hand? I turned to ask the other students, but it looked like Art had already figured it out. Or rather, figured something out. Whatever he started going on about next made no sense to me. Oh, I get it. This is the Safe House, a private group right for us since we signed up for the preservation project? Huh? You signed up to be here? Yeah, of course. If I guessed correctly, we seem to be the ultimate students. There are some serious ultimate vibes in this room, don't you think? Yep, that seems to be the case. What's an ultimate student? Don't tell me you don't know. Oh man, what are you even doing here? Ultimate students are typically high school students that super excelled in their field of expertise. They're often scattered by groups with various intentions, virtuous or nefarious. They will often have a focused set of skills that make their abilities desirable to certain people, and with good reason. If there's a talent you can think of, there's probably an ultimate student out there that will knock your socks off with their amazingness. So you're saying that everyone here is super talented? You're kidding, right? You've been walking around this whole time with Ashley Westbridge, the ultimate jockey, and you didn't even know? This is so confusing. Huh? Ultimate jockey? I don't really talk about my talent outside my usual day-to-day. I've heard of Ashley Westbridge's accomplishment. She can wrangle just about any horse and ride them to victory. It's quite impressive to be able to tame such creatures, and any variety nonetheless. However, I read that you excel best with your main partner, Hyperin, a Pinto Trankner. My, I didn't realize my achievements were so widely regarded. It's a little embarrassing hearing others remark upon them. Wow, even so. I looked over to Ashley, who, despite the sudden grandeur, looked as modest as ever. Honestly, I thought you were a typical horse girl. I don't know where to find that humbling or insulting to my talent. So Ashley held the title of Ultimate Jockey, huh? I was curious to know what that implied. I never knew her to be so particularly eccentric when it came to her lifestyle at the stables. For how long during our friendship did she even have that title? Enough about me. What about you two? I admit I can't really put a title to either of your names. With this newfound knowledge of the situation, I was curious to learn about the other students here. Let's go with Art. Your name is Art, right? May I ask what your talent is? Sure, I'm the ultimate golfer. I'll never miss my mark. Total holes in one all day, every day. Wow, how did you manage that? Hi Donna. Can't stand having to put more energy into extra strokes, so I make the first and last one count. What kind of reasoning was that to become a pro golfer? That's an interesting way to go about it. I can't even imagine being able to control the club like that. It took a lot of practice for sure. I used to golf a lot with my grandpa. It was all in good fun back in the day, so I guess I never really thought about it as work, you know? I flubbed a few times, sure, but who doesn't? Art seems to have taken a lot of pride with his title. It's admirable. Okay, Missy Vesper. What those individual groups or institutions do with the students is beyond me. I've not heard many stories of success or failure from anyone who had the luxury of being accepted. In any case, don't take much stock in the title is all I'm saying. I have to admit though, I'm rather curious of the titles, now that the subject has been brought up. That's understandable. I am the ultimate tactician. Well, that's actually useful and good title to have. Tactician, like battle tactics? No, it's more like political campaign tactics and strategies, the less interesting of the two people usually think. I've been at the forefront of numerous political campaigns and battles, many of which I've been employed to strategize against my opposing forces. Really, aren't you basically manipulating the winner outcome then? The choice is not mine, but the people's. I simply put the message out for me in the most self-beneficial way possible for each side. I think political campaigns can be interesting. But wouldn't Ultimate Campaign Manager be a more appropriate title? Well, I'm not the one who came up with the title. I see. Missy seems to be a very self-assured person who doesn't seem to care much for the extravagance of the ultimate title implies. Captivating talents. I love to watch one of your games, Art. No, that's nothing. I bet horse racing is much more interesting. Indeed, your feats of athleticism are quite impressive. Yeah, I admit, it's hard to imagine. It's really not such a big deal, Echo. Honestly, the whole ultimate student thing feels a tad blown out of proportion. Sensing Ashley was done with the praise, I shifted the topic. Well, now that we're all acquainted, why don't we have a look around some more? Looks like there's more to be seen upstairs. Oh yes, it was a pleasure talking to you two. Don't be a stranger, we can explore together. Art's echoing voice sounded through the dining hall. Oh man, the kitchen features are so cool. What's this? Huh? What did you do? On second thought, I might keep an eye on Art for a while. I'm sure he won't mind the company. Alright, we'll see you around. Okay, then what's Echo's ultimate talent? Like, what is he doing here? Ashley and I stepped out of the dining hall into the foyer once more. Kanan didn't stay for long. The foyer was devoid of her presence. Where to? The stairs are going back up, but I think we should check out the entirety of this floor first. I was thinking the same. Why don't you pick where to go next? Sure. The other locations are the study and the theater. Let's go to the study. Let's go to the study. The study was cramped. Encyclopedias that filled to the ceiling covered an abundance of subjects, ranging anywhere from medical to athletic. There was a small office corner provided for studying the tomes in relative ease. Another digital kiosk stood off to the side, showing a searchable list of books it's to study. Ashley observed the kiosk curiously as I gawked at the variety of reading material stuffed to the shelves. Wow, this equestrian encyclopedia was published only 2 years ago. I have an old version, so this could be really interesting. You will be excited about that. What, now that you know I'm the ultimate jockey, it all makes sense? No, you're still the same old horse girl I know, but with a fancy title. There were two other students taking residence in the library, one meekly hiding in the corner and the other calmly leafing through their book of choice. Alright, let's go with the meeting. I approached the meek student standing in one of the darker corners of the study. Hey there! Oops. Sorry to spook you, I was just going around meeting everyone. I'm Echo Pine. I was dragged out of my room by that guy over there. He's evil. I peered over at the aforementioned person, who just looked to be calmly expecting the rows of books. Ugh, fine, he didn't drag me out. I ran into him when I was wandering around. I just wanted to be alone in the study. She shot me a troubled glance after admitting her lie. Can you tell me about yourself? Me? I'm Sai Kono. I'm a watchmaker? Would you by then be called the ultimate watchmaker? I guess you could say that. I just tinker with watches and stuff. They go for really high prices apparently, but I don't particularly care for the money. Their watches. Someone wanted to offer me 3 luxury cars for a single watch. You must some very well admire craftsmanship. I guess so, but I can't even drive. What am I going to do with 3 cars? Climbed up and awkwardly turned back around to face the bookshelf corner. I didn't want to pry, so I just left her alone. The green-haired student noticed me approaching him and deftly flipped his book shut with one hand, giving me his full attention. Good morning. I immediately felt that attention to be near palpable from his focused gaze alone. Are you finding everything alright? The study has quite a pleasant atmosphere, wouldn't you agree? Oh, yes. Very well accommodated. The study as well as the rest of the facility are nicely prepared. Indeed, you can even spend days in this well-kept study enriching your mind in regards to whatever subject your heart desires. Does that sound like an inviting prospect? I don't see why not. The location for ultimate students should be in peak condition, right? This preservation project situation seems to be equipped for comfort. Oh, so you've been made aware of the preservation project. He hesitated as if chewing meticulously on his next statement. Do you have an ultimate talent? If I'm being honest, I'm not even sure what my talent is, considering the situation seems to revolve around it. Everyone I met so far has some kind of title. I admire your candor. Who knows? You might have some innate skills that you personally think are average. You think so? I feel pretty ordinary. Never really been the center of mass attention for anything in particular. The skill might just require a special habit, so to speak. Luckily, this appears to be the ideal place in the social environment for expanding upon such abilities. However, I wouldn't worry much about it. Whatever underlying passion or talent you have is for you, and you alone, to enjoy. That's reassuring. I feel like I've stumbled into something out of my league with so many skilled students. If you don't mind me asking, what's your ultimate talent? It's hard to describe. I'm called the ultimate charisma? Cyrus Sirak, by the way. Ah yes, charisma. Some charming people are just annoying. I feel like this guy might be annoying. Nice to meet you. Back at you, a pleasure. I don't really understand the implication of his title, but I can feel a sort of alluring presence to him. I suppose that's what charisma is. After meeting with the 2 others in the study, Ashley and I chatted about the other students. So we met Sai and Cyrus, a watchmaker and a charismatic person, respectively. I suppose one could become talented at proving their characteristics if they wanted to. Could be similar to managing a brand, perhaps? Maybe. Regardless, they seem nice enough. Yeah, Sai seems sweet, not a little shy. Let's go to the theater next. Ashley and I walked across the hallways to our next location, the theater. The theater was something to behold. Although it was a fairly intimate scene with few row seats and a medium-sized stage, it still had an air of elegance thanks to the decor. The rich red velvet curtains glowed underneath the gaze of a bright spotlight. The stage itself was occupied by 3 students who seemed to be having a heated discussion. You really want to stand by that theory? Hey, to each your own. I'm not knocking you knocking you for not thinking the obvious. Let's settle down, please. Absolutely not. I have no intention of changing my view for this scoundrel. Jeez, scoundrel. That's cold, especially to a stranger. You two don't need to get so heated about something like this. It's an important matter between two strongly opinionated people. So we agree on the matter. Maybe I should cut in? What's going on here? Three turned around surprised, presumably from not being able to see me at the unlit bit of the stage. Need to ask such a foolish question? We are discussing a diary and apparently questionable existence of this. The right-haired student crouched down to reveal a painting that was turned away from the audience. It was a framed picture of what looked like an inkblot art. Oh, it's one of those. Oh, I see. You're trying to figure out what the painting is. Yes. And what do you see? I stared at it for a moment, but looked up at the two patiently, in all seriousness waiting for my answer. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. No immediate answer. I felt his judging eyes pierce my soul. It's a dog. Not everything has to be a dog. It's clearly an elephant. So, just a different four-legged animal? Conversation seemed pretty heated. I might have better luck if I just talk to them individually. To each your own is going to be different. Let's try that apron earring student. The girl who was caught in the middle of the quarrel stepped down from the stage and left the other two to glare at each other in silence. Pandora Esper, nice to meet you. Likewise, I'm Echo Pine. Echo Pine, I hope we get along. So I was informed that this little group of students is composed of students that have ultimate talents. Do you happen to have a title of some sort? Oh yes, I am known as the Ultimate Baker. And yourself? About that, I don't seem to know. I don't think I have one, if I'm being honest. No, it's no matter. It doesn't make you any more or less of a person. So, what do you think the painting is? I'm not really sure myself, but for something as ambiguous as that, it could be whatever the viewer wants it to be. How do you say that? Nie sais pas? I forgot how to say that. I suppose so. Perhaps it isn't the subject of this piece that is the most important, but rather it is the emotion it conveys to the individual. Black and white are quite striking colors to work with, are they not? There's lots of symbolism behind those two simple colors. But I can only wonder if the artist behind the piece enjoyed creating it. The art wouldn't have come to life otherwise, so I don't see why not. I agree. Pandora, she's such a warm presence. Okay, let's talk to the dark-haired student. I approached the student wearing the fur-lined jacket. So, about the painting, I think I do see the dog. You don't have to lie. I don't care about what it is. In fact, I don't even know what the painting is either, so I make something up. A dog is an easy thing to imagine. It's just a practical practice of pareidolia? Pareidolia? The act of perceiving a subject or significance where there is no meaningful interpretation. For example, seeing objects in clouds formations or hearing indistinct voices and random noises. And in this case, seeing a dog is an abstract painting. Dogs are common enough animals, yeah? Who doesn't like to think about dogs? I don't see a dog. I see what looks to be a mouse? A head of a mouse? I stared at the painting a bit longer. The more I looked at it, the more I willed it into seeing what he said. Even if he did make it up. Dude, I do not see a dog. Does anyone else see a dog? Despite being told what the subject was, I couldn't make anything out within the shapes. Isn't it a little cruel to make up something when he's so intense about it? I just wanted him to explain why he saw what he did, but he truly wouldn't. So much for a friendly discussion. To each their own, I suppose. Well, anyway, just going around meeting everyone. I would tell you my talent if I had one. You don't have an ultimate title, or you can't remember. He seemed to be muttering under his breath about my last statement, but I paid him no mind and waited for his response. I'm Lyle from Terminina, the ultimate puzzle master, a connoisseur of word puzzles, block puzzles, escape room puzzles, the like. Now, if you don't mind, I'll turn back to the painting, ending our conversation abruptly. But I don't see anything. Puzzles, huh? Maybe it was trying to unscramble the shapes in that painting? Okay, the compass guy. I visited the white-haired student on the stage. So, about the painting, I think I do see the elephant. Ha, no need to fake understanding. I'm quite self-assured that the painter's intention was to illustrate an elephant. It's not, but okay. As abstract as it appears. Stared at the painting a bit longer, the more I looked at it, the more I willed it into being what he claimed was a true subject. That doesn't look like an elephant either. Where are you seeing the elephant at? I don't see any fantasy shapes. Without being told what the subject was, I couldn't make out anything within the shapes. So do you have an eye for this kind of thing? An eye for abstract art? Me, my friend? I am not an ultimate artist, I'm the ultimate opera singer. Although there is a rhetoric. I did not do that. What has been happening? Oh, he's just talking and talking. He rambled on about something a bit further before stopping himself. Right. But where are my manners? Forte solo? Charmed, I'm sure. I know the word forte. That doesn't mean anything, right? I give a deep bow as he introduced himself, slowly rose and went to look at the painting some more, indicating an end to the conversation. Sure has some interestingly placed thematic moments. Ashley and I left Forte and Lyle to have their spat in peace. Pandora stayed behind, trying to still settle the two down. Phew, Forte and Lyle were kind of intense, huh? I'll say. I never really had a sharp eye for art, so what they were talking about is beyond me. And Pandora is brave for trying to calm them down. She's a certain kind of person to want to intervene when things are getting heated, huh? After wandering around the first floor, Ashley and I paused in the living quarters hallway to gather our thoughts. So those are all the available locations on this floor. I guess the rooms are interesting enough, but more importantly, I wonder just how many other students there are. The other student from earlier Canon just counts the doors, right? Why don't we go check it out? But who knows if there are more students on the other floors. There were stairs going up the foyer, so we could just check out that area too. And speaking of Canon, I wonder what her talent is. Wait, that aside, how did I never know that you had a super talent in horse racing? Well, it never came up. I know a lot of people before you who didn't particularly care for how much time I spent on the stables and racetrack, so I just stopped bringing it up. Besides, it's just easier to tell people I tend to horses. So what does being an ultimate level jockey imply? Does that mean you win a lot? Come on, Echo. I don't want to bore you with those superficial numbers. I'll just say my win percentage is 44% and top 3 percentage is 84. I don't know what those numbers are supposed to mean. Anyway, I'm not just a horse girl. I have other pets too. Yeah, like your cat, Applejack? Of course you remember Applejack. How could I not? She crawled up on my school vest. The deep ring of a school bell rang across the halls, echoing through the building. Then an announcement came over what seemed to be a hidden overhead speakers in the ceiling. It is now 9 a.m. The second floor amenities are now open and will stay open until 7 p.m. Second floor. After the announcement, we saw Pandora filter out one of the first floor rooms and into the hallways. Hello, Ashley and Echo. Would you like to visit the second floor with me? Sure, we were just wondering about it as well. By the way, did you get anything to eat from the dining hall? Huh? Oh, no. I was a little distracted by the whole ultimate students thing. Here, look. I made some croissants earlier. Here, help yourself. Produced 2 items folded in cloth from her apron pocket. I accepted the small cloth, covered the light, and then wrapped it carefully, filling a small bite croissant. A heavenly warm aroma filled the halls. From the fragrance alone, I was enveloped in the comfort of feeling the sun brilliant on my skin. Ashley and I took one each and bit into the flaky, buttery dough. A piece of chocolate inside melted as soon as it hit my tongue. It was smooth and rich, contrasting the light and sweet crumb of the dough housing it. And I tried to make croissants. They were so hard to make, like really difficult. Like can see why they sell for a lot. That's the ultimate baker for you. I don't know how to say that. Let's see, but it's nothing at all. I just really enjoy baking. Look on people's faces when they smell deliciously fresh bread coming out of the oven. The warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you eat your favorite food. Such a feeling is priceless. Pandora was right. After enjoying the croissant, I felt an intense nostalgia from my younger days, and I would spend summers running around outside, basking in the fresh afternoon sun. That was the power of an ultimate baker's delicacies to invoke a warmth and sense of familiarity. What a wonderful thing. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I noticed you two are quite close. Have you met before? Echo's my best friend. We've known each other for 4 years now. Ah, Sestranini? A long friendship is something to cherish. Definitely, Echo's always been there for me, even if they were a little worrisome. Hey, how can you say that? I'm just looking out for you. Hi kid, of course, I really appreciate your concern, but you should think about yourself sometimes too. Fedora smiled sweetly as we had our little back and forth. Sorry, why don't we get going? No worries, shall we? Three of us walked back down the hallway towards the foyer where the stairs to the second floor were. Hey Pandora, did you meet anyone else this morning? Anyone else? I can't say that I have. So far I've only been acquainted with you two, Forte and Lyle. Oh, sorry. I thought you might have run into a few others like we have. This morning I went to the dining hall, then the theater. Unfortunately, Forte and Lyle kept me from going anywhere else with their argument. If we didn't see you, then you must have woken up much earlier than us, huh? That's correct. I suppose you could say my internal clock has been tuned to my habits, given my day-to-day life. I can wake up very early to make sure my dough from the night before has properly risen, prepare any glazes that I might need, prep my workstation. Oh, but I must be boring you with my daily routine. No, not at all. It's fascinating, honestly. You're sweet, Echo. Perhaps I'll invite you to help me tomorrow morning? Hope you're awake at 4:30. Oh, sure. I can't promise I'll be fully awake, though. 4:30? No? Fedora laughed lightly in jest as she went on her merry way up the stairs. Ashley and I followed suit. We were met with another digital kiosk at the top of the stairs. The screen displayed another map, this time on the second floor location, the atrium, the spa lounge, the climbing center, and the jazz club. What kind of mansion has a climbing center in it? Maybe the owner is an eccentric rock climber? I think the assortment of activities presented to cater to the unique talents of various students. In fact, the kitchen pantry has a wealth of resources. I was quite surprised to find such fresh and rare ingredients. I imagine other ultimate chefs will be pleased with the selection as well. That's a good point. It was a theater on the first floor after all. Forte and the other ultimate performers possibly will utilize the room as a place to further hone their skills. The preservation project, it seemed like this group wanted to accommodate a myriad of intense and unique students. I wonder what kind of group had the ability to provide such a vast selection of activities and resources. Where to first? I'm curious about the climbing center. This mansion must be huge if it can house something exciting like that here. I like to see the spa lounge. It must be a lovely relaxing place. Echo, why don't you decide? What? Okay. I want to see the climbing center, but I want to see how big it is. I can explore the climbing center. We inspected the map for a route to the center and made our way there in no time at all. Dang, that's big. The climbing center was a vibrant, spacious place. The artificial rock and arch formations that carved the wall reached upwards of what looked like to be 3 stories high toward the bright, naturally lit ceiling. Off to the side was a preparation locker full of ropes and harnesses, as well as a small vending machine full of energy drinks and water bottles. Oh, this place is huge. I can't imagine how anyone gets up there. I craned my neck up, inspecting the colorful grips that dotted the spiraling ascending surface. The hanging rope disappeared into the distance of the light. The world is certainly full of interesting people and talents. When there's a will, there's a way. The door poked out from under one of the arch formations, just as taken from the incredible height as I was. That's for sure. I'm an athlete, but I can't say I excel here. I don't really have a good tolerance for heights. If I don't mind me asking, how did you two discover your talents anyway? Ashley pondered the question for a second. I was raised in the countryside in a farm, so it probably came to me like a second nature. As a child, going to the racetrack with my father was honestly just another errand, that is, until he let me ride the horse myself. I fell in love for the exhilarating competition at that point. I was homeschooled by my mother's, one a teacher and one a prolific baker. They taught me everything I know about baking. I also cherished the enjoyment people felt when tasting my baked goods. Actually, I too felt a love for the task at hand. Wow, you two are truly incredible. Actually, you're an incredible person too. How lovely was deter you from speaking to us as entertained by your peers. Huh? I don't know about all that. Yeah, go. Don't think too much about the title stuff. We're still people, you know? Don't think too much about the title stuff. Such remarkable feats would be difficult to put aside. There was a humble one talking about the ultimate talents. I wonder if I could ever measure up. After wandering around the climb center, we set off to visit the spa lounge. That place was huge. The spa looked really nice. The spa lounge was serene and welcoming. A shallow pool was laid into the marble floor, mesmerizing opalescent ceiling mirrored the pool above it. Several simple relaxation lounges lined the walls for general leisure. Off to the side was a storeroom stocked with a perfumey inventory of scented oils, bath soaps, and skincare products. Just by the storeroom doorway sat a familiar kiosk. I'd love to spend some time here. Dora sat in one of the lounge chairs, stretching her arms above her head before relaxing her hands in her lap. Now that I think about it, are facilities like this meant to be self-run by residing students? The door brought up an interesting observation. The kitchen offered fully automated meals, but still provided the option of having students utilize the kitchen tools. Peeking into the storeroom, I saw a separate hallway to individual private rooms labeled for certain services: facial, massage, aromatherapy. Hey, it might be right. There are all of these little specialized rooms with all sorts of specific equipment. If you consider my talents in arts, there might be a racetrack or golf course outside, along with other outdoor recreation talents like angling or skiing. Perhaps that would be a very exciting prospect. That can mean all the other facilities and activities have features that are tuned accordingly to certain talents. Yeah, just from a glance, I figured the study was just a library, but I suppose there are resources that there as well that are fitted with talents that require research and writing. I think such an extraordinary place existed to benefit the many pursuits of equally extraordinary people. So do either of you do anything special to train for being an ultimate student? Je ne pense pas. Although some could say I bake too much, I simply suspect my pastries have ended up in the right hands for me to be considered. I don't really do anything special either. I also race quite a bit. Most of my time is spent plainly practicing. Like Medora, there have been a scout in the audience. I honestly couldn't say. I see, she's putting in the hours, so to speak, huh? Perhaps we were just lucky enough to have been selected for this opportunity to meet others cut of the same cloth, right? I couldn't agree more. I'm very charmed to be in such a delightful company. Neither of them seem to do anything particularly intensive to earn their title. I wonder about the others, whether or not they were trained, or if they too were just lucky enough to be selected. Wandering about to our last destination, we finally come across a jazz club. It was a welcoming venue, warm furniture and lighting gave the room an air of casual elegance. Table settings for the audience occupied the majority of the space, with a small stage in the corner for the performers. Close proximity between the two made the scene that much more intimate. The small green room was behind the stage curtains, and connected to it was equipment and instrument storage. The bar opposite the stage had shelves upon shelves of beverages locked behind a sturdy glass case. Pretty classy atmosphere, huh? I wonder how many ultimate talents have toured this room for performances. Plenty, I'm sure. It's well kept among the rest of the rooms, so it would be no surprise one would feel comfortable here. And a thought crossed my mind. Do you think I could be some kind of ultimate jazz performer or ultimate bartender? Have you ever handled an instrument before or mixed beverages? No, but who knows? Maybe if I pick something up, I'll suddenly be stricken with the ultimate talent revelation and play like a pro. Sarah said maybe it's an innate trait waiting to be discovered. It just occurred to me that perhaps these rooms aren't just for students with existing talents, but they could also be a sandbox for budding talents. I suppose there's no harm in trying. Why not? I like to see the moment a talent has been realized. Relieved that they supported my odd idea, I felt a strange confidence rising. Cheerfully, I went behind the stage and picked an instrument I thought would suit me. Ashley and Pedora both took a seat in the front row when watched in anticipation. Felt like a kid going through a toy box with how many options there were. How about this cello? Go for it. Pandora gleefully cheered me on as I gripped the bow and placed my fingers on the strings across the neck. I laid the bow across the strings. I was nervous, but what if what Cyrus said was true, and my talent was waiting to be discovered? I couldn't wait to realize it. I took a deep breath and drew the bow. And then, yep, this is terrible. The sound I created tore through the air like a giant rubber duck was being unceremoniously stepped on. It was awful. I saw Ashley and Bedore flinch from the sound, but they still put on a brave face for my sake. I chuckled nervously and gently pushed the instrument back where it originally was. I guess that's not it, huh? I wobbled off the stage and plopped down wearily at the table with Ashley and Pandora. I was beyond embarrassed. Don't despair. You just haven't found it yet. Yeah, Echo. Not just anyone can handle an instrument. I mean, I thought that thing was supposed to be played like a guitar. I'm surprised you didn't even know how to approach handling it. I've seen performers before, so I just imitated what I saw. Oh, that makes sense. Pandora held my hand in a firm grasp. Listen, we're going to find out what your talent is. If we have to play 100 instruments poorly, at least we'll know we're one step closer to reaching our goal. Pandora reassured me and Ashley gave me a warm smile. Thanks, you two. Come, let's keep exploring. Maybe he has a talent for copying other people. I don't know. We left the jazz club. Outside the room, I ran into these words. Unperturbed, Cyrus and Lyle in the hallway at the foot of the entryway. Hello there. Having a fulfilling time exploring? Yeah, totally. I still felt a little exasperated from the cello mishap, but we tried to play it off as best as I could. What's up with you? Don't tell me you're already tired. There's still lots to explore. Lyle, please. It isn't a race to make ourselves familiar with all the different rooms. No, we were actually just about done over there anyway. It was just my luck that the room appeared to be soundproof. Based on our lack of adverse reaction, it seems neither Cyrus or Lyle heard the disastrous sounds of the cello being totally utilized. Then the sound of ringing and a voice rang through the speakers. Your attention, please. All students assemble in the second floor atrium for a special welcome ceremony. The five of us collectively made our way to the requested location, chatting about our discoveries along the way. The end of the second floor hall fed directly into a spacious, airy locale. Natural light poured in from the high glass ceiling. The lush trees that framed the circular lobby reached towards the sky, well past the ring of decorated plants that occupied the second floor. Small shrubbery lined the base of the trees in a circular fashion, following and framing the ellipse shapes of the room. A well-maintained living wall lined the first floor's foundation. A bronze globe at the very center of the atrium drew the room together. Light and warmth flooded my body, filling me with serenity. Oh! A familiar, excitable voice cut through the air, disturbing the scenery. Check this place out. Dang, wouldn't it be awesome if they had like a mini golf setup in there? How cute would that be? Plenty cute. Yeah, sure, whatever. Art and Misty entered their atrium from the foyer staircase entrance. I was surprised to see Misty stay hanging out with Art, along with a timid sigh trailing behind them, no less. Slowly, our populace gathered in the center of the atrium hall. Kanon and Forte leisurely made their way in much later than the rest of us, but we arrived regardless. I saw all the students I had previously met, but afterwards no one else came. Kind of a tiny class, huh? There were 10 of us, including myself. Art whispered the same observation I made. It was true that our class was rather small, but we were really going to be doing any learning here. I conceded calling a group of students a class was only appropriate. A hologram visual presented from the centerpiece globe, a familiar voice came in from the overhead speakers. It was the same announcer from the earlier in the dining hall. This is a special announcement indicating the welcome of all present students. The Perspiration Project Group would like to humbly welcome you all to their provided safe house. As you all are aware, the safe house has been sequestered off from the growing concerns of disaster. You need not worry any longer of those concerns here. Disaster. I peered across the room to see the expressions of information. Everyone seemed to have relating concerns. I knit my brow. As ultimate students, we provide you with the best amenities and environments to most efficiently cultivate your skills and talents in utter safety. You may utilize facilities to the fullest extent during the requisite hours. However, do not think of this simply as a safe house. This location is more than equipped for you to thoroughly indulge yourselves with exquisite experiences. You're invited to enjoy yourselves freely. Welcome all to the Apothecon. Awesome! Art audibly pumped his fist in the air. Although no one else displayed such a loud presentation of excitement, the other students were vividly talking amongst themselves at the prospect of such a blessing regardless. The projection cut out as the announcement concluded. The students began to wander again, likely to try out what the climbing center and the spa land had to offer. Everyone seemed to be breaking into their own groups while I stood still. I was excited, but a feeling of uncertainty stirred in the depths of my mind, suffocating my enthusiasm. Did I really belong here? As far as I knew, I wasn't an ultimate student. No intense talents, no masterful skills, not even interesting experiences. I started to feel sick with anxiety. Hey Echo, I'm going to the spa with Pandora. Would you like to join us? Ashley's voice brought me out of my thoughts. No thanks. You two go on ahead. I'm actually feeling a little tired from all the running around. I think I'll just take a nap. Ashley looked at me with silent, understanding eyes. Alright then, if you change your mind, you know where to find us. She gave me another quick hug before pairing off with Pandora. Ash, why didn't you tell me about your talent? I muttered under my breath before sulking off. I mean, was it anyone's business, really? Was it really anyone's business? No. Okay, but you're talking about disaster. What type of disaster? I trekked down the stairs back to the first floor foyer. There I saw Kanon in almost the same position she was in when I first met her. She didn't tell me if she had an ultimate title when we introduced ourselves. Perhaps she didn't have one either. But I brought pushing her to ask when my throat felt dry. I didn't feel like being disappointed in the case she did have an ultimate talent. I quickly turned the corner before Kanon could even notice me. When, click, I heard the sound of a shutter clicking. Turning at the sound, I saw Kanon developing a picture from an instant camera. Huh? How do you have a camera? What do you mean, how? I just thought we were disallowed our personal possessions. I didn't have anything in my room, and when I asked Ash, she said she didn't have anything in her room either. I'm a photographer. I need my tools, don't I? So are you the ultimate photographer? Kanon didn't reply. She just bowed her head once in a slight nod. Right. Ultimate Then that picture you just took. She reluctantly handed me the developed photo. The photo captured the moment I had begun to turn down the hall to avoid speaking to her. I thought she hadn't noticed me. This is... I know what you're thinking. It's a horrible picture of you. I know it is, because it's not a picture of you, per se. Confused, I stared at the photo longer. I'm not a portrait photographer. I specialize in composition form called... I don't know how to say that. I translate literally to back figure in German. I don't expect you to understand. I listlessly handed the photo back to her. That's interesting. Kana silently took the photo and stuck it into her pocket before occupying herself with her camera once more. But I admit I didn't make an attempt to sound enthused. In truth, I wasn't. Kana didn't have an ultimate technique after all. If that was the case, what was I doing here? My heart and mind were racing. Am I just an anomaly? Was this all a mistake? Did I accidentally take the spot of an actual ultimate student was meant to take? No. Way. My voice croaked in desperation. This lavish mansion was meant to protect ultimate students, those students in their wide-reaching, influential skills. Those students who were the dexterous masters of their craft. Those students whose charismatic aura reassured my averageness. Those students who created nostalgia-inducing delights. Those students who won races upon races with pure skill. Repulsion rose in my stomach. I felt my breath shorten, my chest tighten. Suddenly, I felt weak. What's wrong with you? You're shaking. I barely heard Kanan. I left for the front door. I need to evacuate myself from the overbearing presence of the people who accomplished nearly impossible feats at such a young age. I was just an insignificant bug who wandered into Alliance then. I couldn't compete. I don't belong here. I grasped the door handle so tightly I saw my knuckles turn white. But soon... I only saw black. No one can leave. I rarely opened my eyes. I was in bed, back in my personal room. Or so I thought. Forte was reclining in the love seat at the corner of his room, combing over what looked like new sheets of music. I was in Forte's room. You're awake. He set the leaflet down before approaching me with an offering of water. I graciously accepted the cup and gathered my thoughts. My right hand was tingling. After gaining my composure, I managed to croak out a question. Forte, what happened to me? Curious. That's what I'd like to know. Huh? What do you mean? Well, after the welcome announcement, I inspected the jazz club but was quickly uninterested in that venue. I went downstairs to retrieve my personal quarters for the afternoon, but was promptly stopped at the foot of the stairs by Kanan. She said you collapsed at the foot of the foyer's front door. Kanan told me to keep an eye on you and quickly left. I scoffed. How considerate of her to have someone else take care of me. But why you collapsed, she did not say it. It came back to me. I wasn't behaving clearly. Yeah, I remember now. I was talking to Kanan in the foyer, but I felt a need to escape and was electrocuted when I grabbed the foyer door handle. Electrocuted. Forte was appalled. I, on the other hand, felt nothing. I took another sip of water and I closed my eyes. I felt wildly fatigued. Forte looked at me with a concerned silence for a minute. Oko, it's not my place to say, but you shouldn't feel a need to escape. We're all being generously treated with a safe location to relax in, away from danger. Well, what danger? No, you don't understand. I don't have an ultimate talent like the rest of you. My head drooped in shame, regret, and humiliation. I don't have any skills or talents to offer the world. He fell silent again. Be that as it may, you're still a peer who shouldn't feel outcast from the rest of the group. You must be with us for a reason. I gazed into the water cup blankly. Come, the rest of the group is in the dining hall. I believe they're just starting dinner. Rete placed a firm hand on my shoulder before offering his hand to help me out of bed. I complied quietly. Okay, it's still strange. I mean, he was brought here for a reason. The dining hall was fully occupied by our small class. Hey, there you are. Art waved at me from the end of the table as I entered the dining hall, causing everyone's head to turn. Ashley and Berdora quickly ran to my side. What happened to you? Are you okay? Folks, please, allow Echo to have a seat before bombarding any question. The rest of the class paused their dinner as Rete helped me to an open seat by Ashley. Kanan wasn't at the table, rather, she was standing next to the entryway. She must have noticed me looking at her and turned away once more. Before I could confront her about what happened in the foyer, Missy placed a pork cutlet meal before me. Ashley wouldn't stop fretting and concerned to your well-being, so I took the liberty of getting a meal ready for you whenever you decide to come down. It's just what I needed. How did you know? I didn't. Perhaps I was just lucky. Missy shrugged indifferently, but I saw her mouth turn a small grin. She seemed satisfied with having pleased me. I gave her a small smile back and helped myself through a small portion to regain my energy. Our little community had dinner together. Conversation lightly touched on everyone's mutual awareness of the preservation project, where the project in which ultimate students who signed up would be placed under protective custody to preserve their skills to benefit the future. Similar stories of town discovery arose. Certain students grew up in an environment where all they knew was that particular skill, yet they still rose to super excel beyond wildest expectations. I, of course, had no place in the dialogue. I paid no specific attention to the chatter, my mind going blank with white noise whenever the topic of ultimate talent came up. As we finished our meals, Missy and Cyrus offered to pick up the dishes as everyone else restlessly waited to hear what happened to me. Echo, you have no idea how worried I was. Ashley was holding my hand tightly. Ash, if you're feeling up to it, would you mind talking about what happened? I glanced over at Kanan next to the entryway. Her face was an iron mask. Oh well, I was feeling tired from running around the mansion exploring, so after the welcome announcement in the second floor atrium, I decided to go back to my personal room for a nap. Going down to the foyer, I was curious about the front door. I wanted to go outside, so naturally I grabbed the door handle but got electrocuted by it. Rete found me collapsed and carried me back to his room to rest. You were electrocuted by the door handle. Perhaps we should investigate. What? And get electrocuted ourselves? Of course not. That's if we want to exploit the door handle for any suspicious mechanisms. We should also check the floor maps again to see if there are any other similarly rigged exits. And what would this accomplish? We will ensure our safety so that nothing like this happens again. For our safety as ultimate students in the Preservation Project, safe house has already been compromised by the existence of such a trap. The group fell silent. Cyrus was right. It seemed as if we had already fallen into some kind of trap the moment we woke. So we're just going to do nothing. Kanon's indifferent voice broke the silence. Kanon's right. We shouldn't sit idly by after our friend Echo was put in danger. We ought to investigate, if not as an insurance measure, but to get to the bottom of the trap that caused such harm. The group agreed and went their separate ways to search for clues. But before anyone could get very far, an announcement rang up. It is now 9 p.m. Nighttime will begin at 10 p.m. Facilities will be closed until 7 a.m. the next morning. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Seems like we'll just have to suspend the investigation until tomorrow. There's no use in wandering about aimlessly in the dark. I suggest you all rest up. I realize the situation is dire, but please do your best to save your energy for tomorrow. Sounds like a plan. We shall meet here tomorrow morning for breakfast and discussion. Yeesh, some first day, huh? One by one, everyone filtered out of the dining hall, low, concerned murmurs filling the corridors. Ashley stopped me back in the dining hall as the last few left. Look, Echo, I'm sorry if you felt hurt that I didn't tell you about my talent. Huh? How did you know? I'm your best friend, aren't I? I can tell when you're distraught. It was after that special welcome announcement I noticed you were off. It must have been difficult, feeling like you don't belong. I admit it's all been awfully overwhelming. Never meant to keep it from you, it's just I feel like being involved with me could only ever cause trouble. Not the horse racing aspect, but the ultimate student status aspect. To get tied up with such intense people could only amount to ultimate levels of trouble. Ash, you know I'm your friend through and through. I don't think being friends with Ashley Westbridge, Horse Girl, is any trouble at all. Ashley giggled. I love you, Echo. You really are a good friend. Of course, I love you too. We made our way back to the living quarters hall and said our goodnights. Before entering my room, I saw Art and Lyle lingering in the halls. Hey, you two, is something wrong? Nope, in fact, we're having a strategy meeting. Strategy meeting? Art asked me if perhaps our being locked in a mansion situation is a big puzzle. Think about it, escape rooms exist, so maybe this mansion is just one giant escape room. I admit, it's not impossible, and it does sound interesting. Right? So, what do you think? I'm not sure yet. I have a feeling it's some copulated ARG scheme. ARG? Alternative reality game. It's a type of game that is interacted with throughout different media experiences, whether it is online or in real life. Tasks range from decrypting audio logs on the website to do something odd like cleaning up local cemeteries. You see, given those examples, it's plausible that the fuse and electrocuting door could be added to that list of tasks, right? Well, they're typically employed to the public to boost attention for a product, but the product is in our scenario, I'm not certain. And if this is an ARG, there must be a puppet master that's setting these things up. Much like an escape room's game master. An escape room and an ARG sound pretty similar in terms of involvement and puzzle solving. Suppose they're not entirely different entities. Wow, you got it all figured out already. Puzzles are my strong suit. I said goodnight and left Art and Lyle to conclude their strategy meeting as I returned to my personal room. I felt the mental and physical exhaustion hit me all at once as I let myself collapse onto the bed. To think I'd be stuck in a luxury mansion with super talented students. My life before this moment had hardly been as eventful as this single day. I lived a rather average life, with as little trouble one could hope for. It was almost utopian in a sense. I never thought it was boring or repetitive. It was like my mundane life caused me to be a little more worrisome than any other person, lucky as I will to keep everything the same going forward. However, the strange situation threw me in a state of disarray. I was wholly out of my element. Above all, I couldn't help but feel guilty for making Ashley worried. Whatever it is I found in myself in, I clearly didn't have a place. I sighed heavily. I should get some proper rest. The room was mysteriously fixed with a few sets of my clothing in the closet of the personal bathroom, and let my body relax under the repetitive rhythm of a warm shower. Crawling under the weighted covers, I turned down the lights and let my eyes slowly drift close. Tomorrow, what were we going to discover? Prologue, what's in the middle? Opened my eyes at the sound of the alarm. I hate being woken up by an alarm. How do people do that? It's loud. In my personal room, I sat up from bed and took in the surroundings. So the events of yesterday weren't part of some kind of strange dream. My personal room that I initially thought was luxurious and comfortable now felt oppressive. It wasn't mine. It couldn't be, since this mansion we found ourselves in was for ultimate students. I was reminded of my mediocrity and let my head fall back on the pillow. Ugh, I don't want to see everyone. I grumbled and drew the covers over my head, uselessly trying to will away the shame of yesterday. I heard Ashley's muffled voice through the door. Good morning, Echo. Just coming to check on you. Oh, just give me a minute. I'll be right out. After getting properly dressed, I met Ashley outside my door in the living quarters hallway. Morning, Ash. We walked casually down the hall to the foyer. You sleep alright last night? Yeah, I slept alright considering. I hope you're not feeling too down about this whole situation. I'm still coming to terms with it, but I'm feeling a little better after getting a rest, and besides, everyone has been really nice. That's good to hear. You've always been good at bouncing back. In the foyer, we were met with 2 other students loitering around the dining hall. Ugh, sorry, I'm not a morning person. Neither am I, but I'm really curious about the door. The door seems scary. Morning, Sai. Lyle. Good morning. Let's investigate to our best ability, yeah? You seem better, Echo. Nothing a good night's rest can take care of. True that. Yeah, morning. It's weird. I'd be having dinner right about now, but I'm waking up instead. Dinner? What? What do you mean? One of my watches is set to my hometown time, and it says it's 7:43 p.m. Sunday, 6th of December. December? 7:43 p.m.? That's a 12-hour difference from now. Oh, the date checks out. I was just thinking that the winter solstice will be coming up in about 2 weeks or so. Somewhere westward from Sai's date today would be Saturday. I guess we're all from different places. The time for certain people would be a little different. Even so, all of our alarms are set to be the same current time, so we'll eventually end up on a uniform schedule, right? Yeah, like recovering from jet lag. A bit unfortunate for those with larger time differences, though. Winter is too cold, but the new year is fun. In the dining hall, familiar, warm aroma of fresh bread wafted through the room. My senses swayed in comfort. Pandora placed a basket filled to the brim with freshly baked delicacies at the center of the dining table. Good morning, you two. You've been working hard, huh? Of course. I had to get an early start if I want to indulge you with all with some treats to begin the morning. Lots of sweet and savory fragrances seep into my body. The warmth of a sun-kissed, dewdrop-covered morning. The smell alone was sublime. Such a lovely setting. Yeah, it would almost be a shame to eat it. Almost. We wouldn't be doing Pandora justice if we didn't enjoy it. You're too kind. Help yourself. That's alright, we'll wait for the others. I sat at a dining table with Ashley and waited patiently for the rest of the class to arrive. The rest of the class filtered in and we began to help ourselves to Pandora's treats, as well as beverages provided by the automated menu. After we settled in, Missy stood at the head of the dining table to begin the discussion. Good morning all, I trust you had a good night's rest. The topic this morning will consist primarily of the problematic nature of the foyer's front doors. We will also be investigating the rest of the mansion for any other exits that might have a similar mechanism keeping us from going outside. You may split into groups or investigate as individuals, but if you find anything at all, please utilize the digital kiosk found in the room you're in to relay a message. Relay a message? The digital kiosk can do that? Yes, I discovered it with Cyrus before we retired to our rooms last night. As it turns out, the digital screens are not just for displaying maps or the specific function it provides in its resident's home. It functions as a remote messaging system between all digital kiosks in the mansion. For example, it can be used to communicate between the first floor to the second floor, and we can assume further floors as we gain access to them. It's a rather rudimentary feature though. One would scan the bracelets on all screens across the mansion to unlock the feature and type using the on-screen keyboard. It cannot send to a specific recipient, however, once you complete and send a message, it will show up on the screen for about 2 minutes before deleting itself. For the most part, the messaging system is used to translate the voice announcements to text for those who are hard of hearing. This mansion truly is an all-encompassing in its endeavors to accommodate all. And that is precisely why we must investigate the reason the mansion itself would cause its residents harm. The group unanimously, I can't say that word. Let's skip it. Agreed. The meeting concluded as we finished breakfast. Everyone decided to split up and search one room for themselves. While I was still deciding where to go, Lyle approached me. "Hey Echo, would you mind coming with me to investigate the foyer doors for a moment?" "Huh? Why me?" "Because you were the one who experienced the shock firsthand. I was wondering if we could go back and retrace your steps to find clues along the way." "I guess we could, but in all honesty, there's not a lot to retrace, I don't think." "Nonsense. There's no harm in a second look with a fresh pair of eyes, yeah? We might see something different this time around." In the foyer, Missy was already doing her own investigating, intently staring at the walls. "So what exactly were you doing yesterday?" I thought carefully about what I was going to say. Didn't want to tell anyone that I had been worrying about not having a talent, which led to my reaching for the door handle in the first place. I thought I'd be an outcast if others knew I wanted to run away. After the welcome announcement, I was feeling a little tired from running around earlier that day, so I went back downstairs to my personal room. And like I said at dinner last night, in passing I was curious about the door and wanted to go outside. Is that so absurd a reason to want to reach for the door? "Oh, no need to get defensive. I was just wondering if you saw anything suspicious along the way." "Suspicious?" Not immediately came to mind. What they said she just let me collapse for him to take care of. Why did she flee after I collapsed? I don't know, maybe she panicked. I mean, you're the one who reached for the door. I can't really think of anything at the moment. I guess I have to dig a little deeper in the scene of the crime. Thanks, Echo. I'll investigate my own from here. I don't know that I helped all that much, but you're welcome. I went over to the door and inspected the surroundings, carefully tracing the paneling for any hidden mechanisms. In the meanwhile, I was curious. I wonder if Forte could help me figure out what went on with Kanon's disappearing act. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. Forte was, unsurprisingly, in the theater inspecting the backstage area. "Hello, Echo. Doing well, I hope?" A little worried about the electrocuting door, but fine nonetheless. "Excellent. I wish for you to keep your spirits high, despite the scare. Should you need any assistance, I shall offer my services." "Yeah, about that, I wanted to ask you about yesterday." I thought you might want to know more. However, the truth is that's so. What I told you yesterday is all the information I have. You see, I admit I didn't expect much more than what he told me. The story seems straightforward though, especially considering the emergency. Maybe you could tell me if he knows anything odd? Forte paused. I suppose there was that trifling fact that Kanon fled up to the second floor right away. Strange. Had I been so startled by such an event, I would have retreated back to my quarters on the first floor instead. Upstairs, huh? Other than Kanon fleeing the scene, I can't particularly think of anything to know. I suppose the whole ordeal was quite frightening? I'm sorry, Echo. I know it's a dire situation, but honestly, I'm not particularly equipped with this sort of thing. The mental hoops and note-taking required of investigation are too overwhelming. Gosh, they use such descriptive language. That's okay, I appreciate the thought, and actually, that little tidbit helps. Does it now? Bravo for figuring something out. Very descriptive language. Tay does. I made my way through the foyer, past an intensely focused Lyle and Missy, and up the stairs to the second floor. At the top of the stairs, I saw the digital kiosk light up, displaying a message on the screen. Campo Piano? High Climbing Center. Well, it's certainly working. I paid no further attention to the message and continued on. Where could she be? I toured down the hall past the jazz club, climbing center, and spa, however my search came up short. Upon entering the atrium, I saw her sitting by her lonesome in the center. Kanon? But before I could confront her again, a ringing sound played and an announcement followed. It is now 9 a.m. of the second day. Please make your way to the second floor atrium for a special announcement. Ugh, what now? The few students that were already on the second floor made their way over quickly. Ashley, Art, and Cyrus. Hey, did you all see my message? Yes, hello, right back at you. Cool, it works. Well, at least we discovered something from Art's larking about. The rest of the students from downstairs arrived shortly after. Lyle, Missy, Forte, Sai, and Pandora. Now, what could this be? Maybe some third floor opened up? That might prove helpful. I haven't found much on my end. Whatever it is, can't they just use a message system thing instead of making us walk all the way up here? With all the students gathered in the atrium once again, the bronze globe projected an emblem. But this emblem was different. And the voice that announced the following was different. Welcome, welcome! Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you've been enjoying your special vacation away from it all. Away from what? This voice was more high energy, like some sort of radio host or sports announcer. This is an extra special announcement for the students with us today. You've been cordially invited to play a heart-pounding, soul-searching, excitement-inducing game. A game? That's right, a game, and not just any game. This is the beyond universal, glamorously popular game that many students like yourselves get the privilege to play. Why, yes, it's the Mutual Killing Game. Mutual Killing Game. Ah, the Mutual Killing Game. A game of hope and despair. A game of allies and betrayal. A game of cause and consequence. It's also thrilling. Yes, indeed, you are all gathered here today by your own violation to participate in the festivities. Sign up for the Preservation Project is to assign yourself to the exclusive game of life and death itself. Upon hearing that detail, I saw the other students' faces go pale with shock. They were all thought to be gathered in a safe place of safety. That idea was apparently a farce. What the hell is happening? My cry is futile. The announcement was completely automated and the horrible things it was saying didn't stop. This delightful game will take place over 7 days in the very halls you explored just a day ago. If you'd like to leave earlier, then follow this one very simple rule. Kill a fellow student without getting caught. Trying to leave by any other means will result in consequences, as some of you may have learned firsthand from a little jolt of discovery. Although I can't see why you want to leave anyway, inside you'll have all sorts of lovely, accommodating amenities, live a luxurious life within these wonderful walls. That is, if you can survive. If you kill without getting caught, the ultimate prize, an amazing prize befitting of an ultimate student, awaits the victor. I know, it's a lot of information to take in at once. We will allow you to absorb this information for the remainder of the day, so relax in the spa lounge. Go climbing. But tomorrow, the real fun will begin. Wahahaha. The hell? The announcement ended on one final disgusting note before cutting out. The class was in absolute shock. No way. It can't be. Wait. What is... A sick, twisted joke is what it is. Everyone was murmuring amongst themselves. There isn't anyone who would take that dreadful announcement seriously, is there? No, not the crazy people in the room. Pandora voiced the question at the back of everyone's mind. How could one? It's merely an awful jest. There's no way any of us could commit such an act against friends. Who said we were friends? Dude, be for real. Come on now. Who knows? Maybe one of you is the puppet master running this stick. This is turning out to be more interesting than the diffuse and electrocuting door puzzle. This ARG is fun. Well, what on earth are you talking about? You think this is a game? What else could I be talking about? I'm the ultimate puzzle master. Being a participant here is simply a test of my skill. I'll figure this puzzle out yet. Don't worry. But you guys are all doomed. The rest of us were paralyzed in the atrium. The immense gravity of the situation was oppressive. No one said a word. Eyes were anxiously darting around the room to see who took the announcement seriously and who didn't. To think, just this morning we were having a communal breakfast. The atmosphere was unbearably heavy. I stood there in a cold sweat. I was dumbfounded. It was a killing game, specifically targeting ultimate students. It was selfish to think of this during a moment when all of our lives were potentially in danger, but I really didn't belong here. No. something right on. Alrighty. I mean, now view. I just had to skip that whole thing. My computer's slow. We can't handle that. Okay, now view the student roster from the main menu. Alrighty, I'm going to end the episode here today. This seems to be... The announcement keeps saying that they're protecting, like, they're being kept from something from the outside world. So I don't know, maybe something bad's happening from the outside world. If anyone in the comments could explain to me what the whole Danganronpa series is, like, the original series is about, so I can, like, get an idea of what this game is going to be about, basically. Thank you guys for watching this video. Bye!